Okay, this is day 29 of the 30-day sketching challenge. We are going to continue with our creating technique for the Isometric Masterclass, and we're going to be creating a camera. We're going to try and draw a camera using this technique. So I've started out with a cuboid. Okay, so it's quite a thin cuboid like that. So again, you use the isometric technique to draw that, and watch the first video again if you can't remember how to do it. And for the lens of the camera, we're going to try and draw another cuboid on the face of this one. So you can see that I've started out with the first face. All the lines are parallel to the face of that first cuboid that I drew. And I'm projecting out the corners now, trying to keep all those lines the same size, projecting out those corners at that 30-degree angle, and then I'm drawing in the rest of that cube. So you're basically just drawing another isometric cuboid onto that first one that we drew. Now I've done it slightly to one side because a camera lens always goes to slightly one side of the camera. And now I'm drawing an ellipse on the back face of that cube, like that. And then I'm using that front face and drawing an ellipse on that one as well. So just like I showed you how to do in the previous videos of how to draw a cylinder, and then you match those up, and we've got the lens of the camera. Now I'm just going to rub out those guidelines so I'm not going to confuse myself when I draw other crates. Okay. So now I'm going to draw a button in the corner of it. So I'm just drawing another crate onto the top face of this cube. So I've drawn the first face, I've projected those corners out, and then I'm drawing an ellipse on the first back face, an ellipse on the top face there. And then you can see how this shapes up to be a button. Like that. If I'm going too fast at any point, just remember to pause the video. You can watch bits over and over again till you get it right. Now here you can see that I'm drawing another cuboid, and this is going to be the part where the camera sort of sticks out a little bit, where you might put the battery. And I'm going to draw an arc, so finding the halfway point on the top and bottom face. Just drawing in that bottom face, there we go. And then bringing the arc out to meet that middle point. The same on the bottom face as well. Don't worry if you're going into something that you've already drawn, because you can rub it out later. And then joining those up. So like I say, if you've gone into the lens that you've drawn, don't worry, because when we go around and fine line this like I'm doing now, I'm only going to fine line the bits that we would see if it was a solid object. Okay. I'm curving my corners round a little bit here. You can see that not quite as sharp. Going around that button. Again, I'm not going over the crate that we drew. So the actual cube or cuboid that we drew at the start, I'm not actually going over that. So you're just keeping the parts that you would see if it was a solid object. There we go, and the lens part. Brilliant. And then obviously you can go back into this with your rubber, rub out all the lines that you don't need. You can add any sort of details that you want. So if you want to add little buttons, or I know that there's a flash part of the camera, I'm going to put the edge of the lens in here, so just following that line around. Putting in some of the little buttons to make it look a bit more realistic. Flash. And then using the techniques that you've seen in previous videos of how to use shade, you can shade your object. So you can see that right in the top corner there I've put the light source. So my light source is going to be from the top, so everything at the top is going to be light, and anything that's facing away from that light source is going to be dark. I've also put a shadow in there as well. So there we go. Have a little go at doing that. Be sure to check out the previous videos as well, so that you can really draw those isometric cubes and cuboids properly.